everybody! In today's video we're going to be learning how to make card holders. You can use these to hold up pictures, or you can use them for business cards or for wedding centerpieces. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Here's the example I was given for these card holders. I found them on Amazon, so all credit goes to the original photographer. If you like the look but aren't feeling crafty, I can link them in the description. I start by measuring out any sections from my wood that looks close to 1.5 inches. These sizes don't have to be exact. I chose to use sustainably sourced cedar for this project. The happy couple have a beloved dog named Cedar, so I thought it was a nice touch. Then I got to work with the Ryoba saw. You could use power tools for this step, but sometimes having something handmade is more meaningful. I cut off all the sections that are a usable size and I set them aside. I also remove any small branches that are in the way. I keep some branched portions for visual interest, but the large burls like this one I set aside for future projects. Knots are harder to cut through, not impossible, but it's good to be aware of. The Ryoba saw cuts cleanly, minimizing work down the line. Another added benefit is it's a good workout for your triceps. Once my wood is cut into lengths, I mark out where I need to make the next cuts. These I try to keep fairly uniform at 1.2 inches. Then I get started cutting again, this time being careful about the measurements as well as taking care to keep the lines square. I want to avoid cutting on a bias. While using the Ryoba saw, I find it helpful to start with small, short strokes of the saw and create a groove before lengthening the strokes for a faster cut. This prevents the blade from skipping out of place. Cedar presented a bit of a challenge in that the bark was prone to peeling off the way you see here. I take a utility blade and trim the bark off that was removed. Then I use some wood glue to carefully reattach the missing bark. As you can see, there's still a small section missing, but I'm not giving up. Given the layered nature of the cedar bark, I recreate it using flakes that have come loose from the outer layer of the bark as I cut it. I select some that are in good shape and I glue them down, following the natural pattern of the bark. I think the end result looks pretty good. You could also cut a new circle, but I have a lot to make in a limited quantity of cedar in the right diameter. It was also kind of fun. For the rest of the pieces, I score the wood with my utility blade before cutting through it to prevent from splitting in the future. I also remove any edges that aren't square and trim any branches that are too long. Once I have all the sections cut, I start cutting the slot for the cards. If there's any angle to the piece I'm working on, I just ignore that and focus instead on being square with the table. The slanted surface can make it a bit harder to cut though. I'm careful to keep the cut even and perpendicular so that the card is held straight instead of at an angle. Then we move on to the belt sander to smooth out the lines and bring out the grain of the wood. As always, don't forget your safety equipment. I keep the project up against the guide and keep my fingers well clear. I check on the finish frequently and make sure I'm keeping the surface straight. Otherwise, I might end up with an uneven surface or an angle or a bevel. You can see here how much it brings out the grain. From here you can stain these or leave them natural, depending on your preference. And here's an image of them in use at the wedding. I hope you have fun trying this. Drop a comment if you have any questions because I'm always happy to help. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye!